The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
I'm your girl, thePLAINESTjane, and let's see what's happening in these virtual streets. You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now. What up and welcome back. Okay, it's your girl Jane, the plainest Jane, and y'all know on this channel I serve in the form of black news and celebrity entertainment. I'm so happy to be talking to y'all again. Okay, we were live earlier this morning covering the Jaguar Wright train wreck, and a lot of y'all were cracking up. I was honestly cracking up too, because it just is what it is at this point when it comes to her. But listen, y'all know things are sticky in Hollywood and real life all the time. And we got some things that we need to talk about. Get on my bus, hit the thumbs up, have a seat. Shout out to the channel members. Shout out to everybody who is subscribed. Okay. Shout out to the Discord. Shout out to the people that follow me on Twitter. Okay. And definitely big shout out to my mods and my editor. I see you, girl. Angie B, thank you so much for joining the channel membership. I appreciate that. Listen, are y'all ready for spring? It's finally starting to get warm up here in Maryland. Up here in Baltimore, I seen a man outside today, literally black man too, with shorts and a tank top and Nike slide. I said, come on, brother, it's getting warm, but it ain't that warm. I don't expect my kind to be doing mess like that. But look, I'm excited. I'm excited for spring. I'm excited for sundress season so I can act a little fool. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm gonna act a fool in my sundress, and I hope that you all are getting ready for not only spring and the warm weather, but daylight savings time. We lose an hour this weekend, so make sure you ain't running yourself ragged this week, because you really gonna be in overdrive next week. I'm not ready for the allergies either, and I'm definitely not ready for the mosquitoes, but you know, seasons change and we just got to roll with it. I've had enough of winter. Look, we have some amazing topics that we're going to talk about this evening. All right, we're here early, live before 7 o'clock. Who, me? God is working on me. All right, I'm always late. It's always taking me too long to get ready to do things. I said, I'm gonna get home. I'm not even gonna change my work shirt. I'm going live. All right. And here we are. So today we're going to be talking about D.L. Hughley. Chris Brown is in trouble yet again, associated with violence. GloRilla experienced a tragedy at her concert. We're going to get into that. Now, when I say we're talking about D.L. Hughley is literally, as you saw in the title, right? He's comparing the Oscar slap to slavery. Let's get into it. And I want to know how you feel about it as well. North is on TikTok dressing like Ice Spice. Some people feel like it's too grown. Social media is in a tizzy, and they are definitely speculating. And me, myself, I think that Kim could possibly be trying to summon a response from Kanye, awaken the beast, if you will. And there's some other things that we're going to discuss this evening on the bus as well. So like I said, pay your fare. It is absolutely free to ride this bus. All I ask that you do is hit that goddamn thumbs up button. Shout out to everybody who is on the bus right now in the live chat. Okay. And listen, let's just go ahead and get ready for takeoff, shall we?
The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
All right, so Chris Brown is in trouble yet again. Let's get into this story, and I want to know how you feel about it. Listen, these new age celebrities, they don't care. Like, they do not care about protecting their brand or protecting themselves. And I think that that's quite sad. I think that they've gotten a bit too cocky. Kodak Black got in trouble for how much? Right? All those things he did. He gets pardoned by Donald Trump, and then he gets found with Fenty in his system, fentanyl, right? Young Thug and YSL just repeated offenses over and over and over again of or around about the same type of offense. GloRilla is starting to head down a weird or a similar path, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. She still has time to turn it around. The question is, will she be careful enough to do so? Travis Scott, we all know what's going to happen with Travis Scott. Travis Scott actually is expected to turn himself in. Let me just show y'all this real quick, since we're talking about these celebrities who just have this permanent shadow of violence following them. Okay. Travis Scott is actually expected to turn himself in after witnesses say that he punched someone in the face at a nightclub in Manhattan. Okay. And we already know what Travis Scott is associated with, that Astro World disaster. It was a huge mess. And now he's still getting in violent altercations, allegedly, right? And is expected to turn himself in. So after he's supposed to be turning himself in for questioning after what happened at the nightclub, when witnesses say that they saw him allegedly assault and sock a sound engineer in the face. He punched him, according to these reports. And so he's 30 years old. He's also accused of damaging $12,000 worth of sound equipment. He jumped on a private jet following the show that was bound for Los Angeles just hours after everything transpired at the club on Wednesday last week. So he's another one where it's like, look, you found a way to try to move on after Astro World, and a lot of people felt like it was your fault. You didn't care about the safety of your fans and the people who were in attendance at that show. And here you are getting caught up in more incidents where people are getting hurt. Like, come on. Like, the fact that you found a way to work following all of that stuff is crazy, and you're still not being careful enough. Trey Songz is another person associated with the same type of crimes over and over and over again. And I guess they feel so big, so bold, and so bad, and they have so much money that they feel like, listen, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. If it's one thing we learned from this whole Murdoch situation, the Netflix docuseries and the HBO one, and the recent sentence that the guy just got, people with money, black or white, they feel like they can get away with anything, maybe because they've been paying to hide their crimes or paying for the best attorneys and cleaners to clean up after them. How long did R. Kelly get away with what he got away with? How long did Elvis get away with what he got away with? Right? So, but listen, Chris he's been trying to shed this image of being a violent and erratic individual, right? And it's over the decade, he has been reprimanded time and time again for his egregious and violent actions towards Rihanna and other women after that as well over the years. And so Chris, he's currently on tour in the United Kingdom and up there with the Brits. And so according to The Sun, he has another legal matter to face. On February 19th, a man claimed that Chris Brown sent him to a hospital following a fight at Tate nightclub up there in UK. Now, a brawl broke out with a guy and Chris Brown's crowd, and the man was hit over the head with a glass bottle. He tried to get up off the ground to escape, but he was surrounded and then punched and kicked before security ended up breaking it up. So the man was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and police reviewed CCTV, and they want to talk to Chris Brown when he returns to England for additional shows. Now, although Chris Brown wasn't the one to lay these blows, it is said that it was members of his entourage that were involved. So Chris Brown has been arrested multiple times. 2013, he was taken into custody during a trip to Washington, D.C., and that's when he broke a man's nose who wanted a picture. Although he went to rehab after that incident, the stint didn't last long. He was also soon kicked out and sentenced to a year in jail for breaching his probation agreement. And so Chris Brown exhibited aggressive behavior during the Berlin concert last week when he threw the girl's phone because he was on stage dancing for her and she was busy on her phone. Now, she did end up getting the phone back, but a lot of people consider that to be a violent act, or at the very least, an act of aggression. And so the police were, they were called pertaining to this most recent incident, or this violent incident, should I say, on February 19th. They were called at approximately 4 a.m. on the 19th of February, following reports of a man who was assaulted in the venue. And there have been no arrests, but inquiries continue. And listen, like I said, they feel like they're above celebrities or people with massive amounts of money. They feel like they're above having their feet held to the fire. I think it's pathetic. Like, there's a lot that he needs to protect. The fact that Chris Brown is able to find work after all of the heat. I mean, hell, all he did was do a song with Chloe Bailey, and here comes the heat all over again. And they're bringing up his whole track record of everything that he's done, right? So he's lucky to still have work in this business, whether it be in or out of the United States. But it's like, I feel like the mentality, hey Kiva, hey, come get this commentary. Hey, Sunstar, hey Leah. I feel like this mentality, right? I feel like celebrities do have to start to ignore, they have to ignore bad comments, right? Or comments that just aren't positive. If it's not positive, or if it's not comments that are trying to hold you accountable without being mean-spirited and tearing you down at the same time, you do have to learn how to block out those comments, right? And so with ignoring bad comments, or they start ignoring bad comments, and then they just start ignoring comments that hold them accountable. And accountability is not an attack. I say that all the time. Say it with me, people. Accountability is not an attack, but a lot of people take it as if it is. And so they start by ignoring bad comments. Then they start by ignoring and pushing accountability aside. And they just end up blocking everything out that's not praising them like that. They don't care. I'm rich. I'm still living my best life. And the haters can't stop me, right? Anybody who isn't, kissing their butt is a hater. And it's like they forget the CYA, is what my mother used to call it when I was coming up. Cover your ass. If you know you did or did not do something, but there are certain things and stigmas associated with you based off of your behavior, perceptions, or allegations, you still have your own due diligence to protect yourself. And you have to be careful with what you allow yourself to become associated with. And these new age celebrities, they have no concept of what they have to protect, or the ability to see down the line and see how the court of public opinion can flip on you. And they will flip in a heartbeat. And it's definitely a big deal in this day and age, because it can affect your bag. It can affect your job. If the outcry is loud enough, long enough, and if they're calling up the right people, then the outrage, it can affect you. And so they need to be careful. And I just feel like they don't care. This is not a good look given the history with Chris Brown's connections to violence, right? Because here's why I say this, right? There could be one thing from your past that is legitimately your fault. One thing that is your fault. You might take accountability for it. You might address it in whatever way you address it. And then here comes an allegation that very well may not be your fault. But now the court of public opinion's perspective is they see a pattern. Whether you did it or not, they see a pattern because you've done it before. Right? You've done it before. So if somebody else walks up and accuses you of it, people are more inclined to believe that, because they're like, oh yeah, that's his character. He did that. Chris has to be more careful and more strict on his crew and what he allows his crew to do on his behalf. And he has the money, he has the resources to be strict and to hire and fire people accordingly based on how they follow his explicit directions or not. There's no reason why your crew is out here beating people up as if you're not associated with violence for fans, women in general, men, women, all this. Did we not see what happened with Cardi B having them people get banked? So yeah, when they are working for your company and they are acting on behalf of you or for the betterment or protection of you or whatever, that can come back down to you. And that's so simple. I can go ask a fourth grader that right now and they could tell you that. So the fact that these celebrities are so cocky that they don't want to protect their own bottom line, which ultimately this is affecting a lot of different people. If you start going down in flames and losing gigs and losing shows, what about your team? What about your family? What about your kids if you have them? These people just don't think down the line. And I just think it's crazy because they're too old for that. I would expect that from a 22-year-old, but not from somebody at Chris Brown's big age. But those are just my thoughts. I want to know how y'all feel about it down below in the chat. Okay. Thank y'all for coming in. We got 154 people here and 81 thumbs up. Listen, if you're looking for ways to support the show, make sure you consider hitting the like button because it's free. You can send a cash app. My tag is right here on the screen. $2, $5, $10, whatever you got, are you willing to give? Or another free way to support the show, hit the subscribe button. Very simple, very, very easy. Okay. Now, let's get into the next story. Okay. So y'all know we talk about celebrity stuff. We talk about real world stuff. That's just how we do over here on my bus. We got to mix it up. On today's episode of What the Hell is Wrong with Y'all? Okay. We've got these hotel chains that are under fire for handing out keys to unverified guests, leading to a series of SAs, right? Sexual assaults. So you got to be careful when you travel, when you're a man or a woman, to be completely honest. But I find this to be so bogus. And these are some well-known chains. Okay. I see everybody new coming into the chat. Thank you so much for being here. So let's take a look at this story. Okay. Read this headline and let me give you the details. So, like I said, Stickies, you got to be really careful when you're staying at hotels. I used to ride the MTA back when I was in middle school. I would get out of school, catch the bus, go to work. Yes, I had a job in middle school. Catch the bus, you catch the MTA, Maryland Transit Association, and you would get on there and the prompt would say, please stay vigilant and on alert. And that always stays in my head no matter where I'm going or what I'm doing. I'm like, let me stay vigilant and on alert. But it's especially when you are visiting hotels, it's a lot of things that happen in these hotels, right? And I want to know what you think, and I want to know what you do to maintain your safety when you're staying at hotels. So these top hotel chains, they're under fire as cases of sexual assaults are being reported due to hotel employees giving keys to perpetrators without verification. There have been 2 different cases in Texas where men allegedly broke into women's rooms after lying to staff to get keys to the rooms. In one scenario, a man tricked police and told the hotel staff to deliver his victim to his room. Another incident involved a woman who protected herself by quickly slamming the door on the intruder, severing his finger off completely. Now, let me show you this because it sounds bizarre, but she actually took a picture of it. And this is really gross negligence, in my opinion. Okay, take a look at this image that I was able to capture and show you all. This man is trying to get in her room, and she's, I don't blame him. I wish it was 4 or 5 fingers sitting up in there so she could have taken them all. Gotta catch them all, catch all of them goddamn fingers. Because what is you doing? What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? So, and I don't blame her one bit. Okay. Now, the lady who slammed her potential predator's finger off has been identified as Mandy, and she's planning to sue hotel management. The company is Ambridge Hospitality for over $1 million for the incident. And many women are speaking up and following suit. A Texas rape crisis center believes that the rise in cases is just the tip of the iceberg and that women are just finally reporting it. Now, the Hilton released a statement to the New York Post and stated, and I quote, "At Hilton, the safety and security of our guests is a top priority, and we do not condone violence of any kind," end quote. And so, like I said, I feel like it's really gross and I feel like it's really negligent because hospitality staff, you're not properly authenticating the people that you're giving out keys to other people's rooms to. And what's really bizarre to me is people of the hospitality caliber, right? If you specialize, if you work in a hospitality business or industry, right? Staff are supposed to be some of the most thorough, right? When you talk about hospitality, especially in a hotel, when you think about hospitality, you think about how them people treat you at Chick-fil-A compared to how they treat you at McDonald's and the rest of them. Like, that's hospitality. And for people who went, whether you went to school for hospitality or not, because that's a whole nother level, but most of your hotel managers, and I mean managers, not the shift supervisors, they went to school for hospitality. Most of them. Some of them might have worked their way up and been there for some years, but they definitely have to pass down how thorough you need to be to care for your clients and your customers. You have to at least be outwardly caring. Even if you don't truly care, you have to exude a bit of care in order to work in hospitality. I mean, look up the definition of hospitality anyway, or hospitable. And you have to pay close attention to detail in order to best serve your clients. So you mean to tell me that when we're going to go stay in hotels, we got to check for bed bugs, bring our own sheets, black lights, whatever we need to do to see if there's any bodily fluids anywhere. We got to spray the room down. Some people like to clean the room and get jiggy with it, bring gloves and do all this. There's just so much to worry about when you're traveling and presumably supposed to be relaxing and having a good time. Shit, I feel safe at home if I didn't have a strong travel buddy. But even then, there's some people that will literally wait until you get in your room. And you know how you automatically let your hotel door close and it's supposed to lock behind you? There's some people who clock. You might be looking at your phone, going into your room, letting that door automatically close. It is heavy. And they come in there and they sneak in. And that's probably how this woman severed this man's finger. Either that or he knocked on the door and she opened it and then closed it real quick. I don't know. You know what? It looks like that because she's already got that latch closed. So it seems like maybe he knocked, tried to disguise himself as a delivery or room service or whatever. And she opened it and realized he was an intruder and hurried up and shut it. Good for her. Okay. But, I passed the question off to you, Stickies. What are your thoughts about the situation? Where do you land with this? And what safety precautions, what devices, what measures do you use in order to feel safe when you're staying at hotels? This is a really sticky and crazy situation. Okay. Somebody said he effed around and found out. He definitely did. He definitely did. So, what do you do when you're trying to feel safe, especially as a woman, whether you're traveling with somebody or not? It can be scary. Some women travel by themselves and, Shad Quality story came out and people were like, oh, I'm not traveling with friends no more. You got some women have a whole page dedicated to how to solo travel to different countries across the world. It sounds scary to me. It's giving independent vibes. I ain't got to wait on nobody else to save up enough money or do whatever or request off or cancel at the last minute. But I honestly could not imagine traveling to another country by myself. Sounds scary. It sounds very scary. Like I said, I passed the question off to you, and I want to know how you feel about it. This story really disturbed me when I read it. Okay. Woo. Yeah, you got to bring your own sheets, bed bugs. If you get into a room and they have like a cloth headboard or just like the mattress in general, pull the sheets, unmake the bed, pull the sheets back. Go into the crevices and bring alcohol and or lavender with you. See, because checking for bed bugs is one thing, but if they're fresh bed bugs or if the bed bugs haven't really released any waste or anything else, it'll look like ink. But if they haven't, right, and the bed bugs just kind of got in there, spraying alcohol and or lavender on that fabric, they hate that and it'll automatically bring them up out. So they'll come crawling up out of the bed. So that's a way if you feel like your naked eye isn't good enough, or you want to check and see what's going on down in that mattress as opposed to what's on the surface. That's just a pro tip now it won't kill them. It's just that they don't like it. And if you spray it in the fabric that they're in, they're going to come out so that they can breathe. Pro tip. It's crazy. Crazy. So look, we are just getting started on this bus. And of course I just got started and my nose is running. Like what? Bananas. BANANAS. Anyway, let's keep it sticky and let's keep it moving here on the bus, okay? Y'all know that the Black News Bus is a social media stroll where I cover topics inside of the celebrity world and outside of the celebrity world, stuff that affects everyday people like you and me. I've always got some Black excellence, and y'all know I always got some Black history popping off on the Black News Bus. So what I've done with my format here is I jump straight into 2 stories and then I get into my intro and then we continue with the others, right? I don't want y'all waiting forever for me to get to the topic. So we switching it around. We doing things a little bit different around here, okay? Just a little bit. Just a little bit different, okay? Trying to improve for y'all, all right? Now, real quick, I hope you're feeling all right. I hope that your mental health is intact with your invisible problems. If not, get up off here. Click away. I'm that content creator that'll say, do not watch my video until you've got your stuff in order. You ain't got no business looking at all the issues all around the world with celebrities, other people, otherwise, until you've handled what you got going on at home. Mental health is very important to me, okay? Shout out to the new subscribers. I know there are several of y'all. And of course, before I get into breaking down today's topics and viral events, make sure you subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But make sure you think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. Now, let's get into Northwest. Let's get into the next topic. Northwest is 9 years old, right? She's 9. She's 9 years old. And I want to, I just want to see what you all think. Social media is buzzing, child. So let me make this a little bigger on the screen. Y'all know Northwest recently met Ice Spice. And Ice Spice is, I mean, she really just shot up. She literally came out of nowhere. Some people think she's a plant, whatever. I'm not getting into all that, right? But, you know, you thought I was feeling you? That was a munch. That's who Ice Spice is, right? And so Ice Spice recently went over to the Kardashians' home and did some TikToks with North. And today, North ended up uploading this series of TikToks, and she's got on her Ice Spice wig, which really is giving more of a Hard Knock Life, because it looks like Raggedy Ann. And I'm not saying that North looks raggedy. Please use some discernment and common sense before you act like I'm calling a child raggedy. This looks like the Annie. I'm sorry, yeah, Annie. This looks like the Annie wig. They could have got her a better wig, but anyway. She's a kid, and I thought she was going to wait till Halloween to dress up as Ice Spice. But a lot of people feel like, oh, this is grown. This is grown. Where's Kanye? Is Kim trying to summon Kanye? Is she trying to get a response? Okay. Is she trying to get a response? Some people feel like it's harmless. She's doing the same dances that Ice Spice does. You listen to the lyrics to some of the songs and, you know, the song in this TikTok. And if you ignore the lyrics, maybe it'll seem harmless. I totally understand why Kanye didn't want North on TikTok. TikTok is a very toxic place. Now, you might have an innocent child or a child that has, you know, really pure desires to just have fun. But the influences on TikTok, they don't age well, in my opinion. They don't age well. It may not be a bad video, but I do think it's just the beginning of semi-grown antics, right? Beyonce would never let Blue Ivy. Beyonce would never let Blue Ivy. That's the end of the sentence. And definitely not at 9. Definitely not at 9. It just wouldn't be happening. So I want to know if you all think that Kanye would be upset about this. Do you think? Let me see. How old is Blue Ivy? Okay, Blue Ivy's 11. But still, she ain't making no TikToks. She ain't making no TikToks. So we'll see how it evolves. I do know that North wears a lot of makeup, in my opinion. It's not even my opinion. North wears a lot of makeup. North sits there and she's doing tutorials, and her makeup look better than mine. It's not about her skill. It's about literally how much makeup it is. Lip liner and lipstick and concealer and foundation and contour and highlight. And like, don't get me wrong. I know your mom owns a makeup line, but she don't need her 9-year-old. And North started wearing makeup when she was like 7. She don't need her 7, 9, not even a double-digit-year-old child in order to sell the makeup. Like, come on now. So I think the combination of things, it may seem harmless to people at first, but I don't know if you ever did anything when you were growing up, say hashtag growing up black. You ever did something when you were growing up black and it wasn't quite over the line yet, but your parents saw this is going to turn into something that I don't like. Let's pump the brakes right now. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump these brakes because I see where this is going. And, you know, some parents have that discernment over their child, right? So, you know, it is what it is. Is Kim using North to summon Kanye? Or is she just allowing North on TikTok dressed as Ice Spice to be a little more grown than the average 9-year-old? Is it harmless? Would Kanye approve of this? Somebody said TikTok the OnlyFans pipeline. Oh my God. Is it harmless? Would Kanye approve of this? I think we all know the answer to would Kanye approve of this. I think we all know the answer to that question. We all know. But hey, here we are. Social media is in a tizzy about it. And this is the conversation. You know, some of the dance moves and the makeup and everything. North is just getting started with her TikTok thing. And but she's not, you know, she's not my child, but the conversation, you know, it's going to be had. So that's that. Kanye has responded. Stop lying. Stop lying. Where he responded? How he respond? You lying to me. Kanye ain't respond. Stop lying. Did he? Oh, hold up. Oh no, that's Kim responding. Okay. I don't see where Kanye responded anywhere. If somebody sees it, especially somebody, if you're in the Discord and you see it and you can find it, please put it in the Discord and let me know. But I don't see a response on my end. But we'll keep an eye on that. You think it was on IG? Let me check one more time, child. Let me see what's going on. Let's see. Did it? What's going on? Where's his account? What's he saying? Kim deleted the video of North dancing as Ice Spice. Oh, really? Okay, so Kim deleted the video. Yeah, I do not see where Kanye has responded. Okay, but I did see that Kim has deleted the video. So it will be all over social media. Right. Yeah, I don't think it's there. If somebody in the Discord could check Twitter so I can move on to the next topic. I ain't trying to we try and keep the bus moving. I'm trying to make these videos more efficient and consumable for you all. Okay. Why she take it down? Was it because Kanye said something? Baby. Mm-hmm. Did Kanye call and digging at her?
Anyway.
I was about to say it's really gonna be on and popping if he didn't responded. Now let's get to the meat and gravy of this video and what we need to talk about. Y'all don't be calling in no more, so I would drop the link for y'all to call in and sound off on. Is slavery similar to the Oscars slap? Let's just have the discussion. I'm gonna give you my thoughts. All right. This curl Tammy rolling. Okay, here we go. D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley, sometimes he makes some good points. Sometimes I feel like he just jumps out there just to trend with an unpopular opinion because he knows it's going to pick up some traction. I feel like he's siding with the comedian because it's a comedian, right? I don't know. But here's what D.L. Hughley said. He said, it's ironic some of the very people saying that Chris Rock should get over being slapped and stop talking about it because it happened a long time ago are the same people who get mad when people say we should stop talking about slavery and get over it because it happened a long time ago. Slavery and the slap. We talking about the man that used slavery to take a dig at Will Smith during his stand-up. You know, the false equivalencies be out of this world. So, I mean, sometimes comparisons are necessary to make a point to someone who just is not able to see the bigger picture. They standing up close to the portrait and they need to step back and take a look at the landscape. Sometimes you need comparisons. Other times it's just too much, because the slap versus slavery are two totally different things. Is this the same D.L. Hughley that's tired of Monique talking about all she's been through in Hollywood and wants her to shut the fuck up about it? Is this the same man? I just want to make sure I'm not getting anybody mixed up. Is this D.L. Hughley taken up for a Chris Rock who allows the whites to call him a nigger, and he thinks it's funny when he's in a room full of 3 other white comedians and he's the only black person and they think that the word nigga is funny and he's laughing with them? Is this are we talking, is this what we doing? Is this D.L. Hughley defending the man who ended his comedy show with Outta and hit Will back because my mama told me not to fight in front of white people? Chris Rock's politic when it comes to color and respect and decency from white people. See, Chris Rock embraces slavery and its harmful depictions when it benefits him. Because if we really wanted to use slavery to compare anything to defend Chris Rock, then Chris Rock would need to have a good politic about protecting black people from harmful depictions and everything associated with slavery. And nigga is absolutely associated with slavery. Do you know how the word nigga came about? During the slave trade, they were called negros, and some of them couldn't pronounce negro. So they were mispronouncing it and started calling us niggas. So if you have a crappy politic when it comes to color and respecting black people and making sure that you don't allow white people to disrespect you or control you when you tap dance in front of us, then what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I feel like he just wanted a moment to trend. That's how I really feel. I feel like he can't be serious, but I do feel like he is serious. Somebody in the chat said he trolling. I don't think he is. I don't think that D.L. Hughley would include slavery in a tweet while trolling. Do I think he has the ability to troll? Yeah, I think everybody does. But this ain't it. This ain't it. But what do you think? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like, yeah, the slap compared to slavery, D.L. Hughley is spot on. He is right. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like he's right. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like he's wrong as day. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like D.L. Hughley is right. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like he is wrong as day. I want to know how y'all feel about it. And I'm surprised none of the blogs picked it up. Maybe the blogs feel like it's just like not worth talking about or it's senseless. But everything pertaining to this special, everything pertaining to the slap, everything pertaining to the slap has resurfaced now, right? People are dissecting the jokes and why he was okay with his daughters getting drunk when they were underage. And it's just been slap talk all day. And I'm like, are we really back? We just went back a year. We went all the way back to 2022. It just don't make sense. Are there any ones in the chat? Are there? Okay. All 2s. I mean, if it's a 1 in the chat, it's okay. You don't have to be scared. I'm going to let you rock and have that opinion, right? But D.O. Hughley, he just be jumping into stuff. I pass the question off to you, especially if you're watching the replay. What are your thoughts and where do you land with this situation pertaining to this tweet? Take a screenshot, have a conversation online. Okay. What are your thoughts about what D.L. Hughley had to say pertaining to Chris Rock, the slap, and slavery, and the two being adjacent when really they aren't? Okay. Kimberly Nicole said the blogs are scared to talk about the slavery part. That's a good point. That's a good point. They could be. The whole conversation around the slap just got real stupid real quick. It did. And when I tell you we wore the slap out last year, when we wore out the slap conversation last year, all for it to be a topic of discussion again, it's strange to me. It's strange. And most of the people capping for well, I have seen some people really think that Chris Rock did a good job and they applaud him. But I will say this, I've seen a lot of white people that thought it was great too. I'll just leave it there. But we know who Chris Rock's typical demographic is, don't we? Do we not? We know. Okay. Now, I see some new people. We got like 100 new people in the room. Okay. Now look, if you're looking for ways to support the show, consider hitting the like button. We're 100 down in the likes. It's 257 of us here, 159 likes. Come on now. You can support the show for free with a like. If you feel like the show is really bomb.com and you're really feeling it, consider sending a cash app. You can. It's not required. Okay. Super chat. Again, it's not required. Right. Or you can subscribe to the channel. Okay. That helps out as well. Somebody boosted their membership and I missed it. Mia Lynn, thank you so much. Mia Lynn said, hey, everyone, hit the like button, please. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mia. Also, if you're looking for a way to support the show, consider, checking out support other Black content creators, right? Deeper Than Skin Deep is linked down below in the description box. If you're a makeup girly, if you want some info, if you want to splurge on high-end makeup every now and then, she does really good, short, thorough videos on high-end makeup. I totally recommend you check out Deeper Than Skin Deep. First link down below in the description box. Now we need to get into the next topic, okay? GloRilla in the stampede, okay? I told y'all earlier, I feel like GloRilla is headed down a path that if she's not careful, she won't be able to escape the shadow of violence and toxicity either. If you remember, I reported a while ago on GloRilla and how she fired her bodyguard because there was an incident where she fired her bodyguard because someone threw water at her when she was like on her way out of a venue. There was some miscommunication between the promoter and what happened. She got paid $30,000. They didn't get a performance, some confusion, and someone heckled her and threw water at her. And there was this like altercation, and GloRilla wanted her security guard, who was a man, to go back in and beat the girl up. That's what she wanted. She wanted her security guard to beat the girl up. And the guy refused. And honestly, like, I don't blame him because, again, we go back to Cardi B had some people banked, right? Did she not go to court? Did she not serve in community service for that? Right? Chris Brown associated with violence again. Is he not the face of that? The baby gets caught up in stuff like this too, having his crew bank and beat people up. The baby may or may not do any time about it, but that doesn't mean that the guards or whoever are responsible, it's a luck of the draw as to who's going to be held accountable, if not both parties, the artist and the security, right? And so for you to want a man to go beat up a woman because somebody threw some water at you, was it right for the girl to throw water? Absolutely not. Come on now, like, use your common sense. No, it wasn't okay. But let's take a listen to what her security guard had to say, and then we'll get into talking about this recent tragedy at GloRilla's concert. Actually led to a fatality.
Rolex on your wrist, plain Jane.
That's what cowards do. So all that extra man, I don't want to hear none of this shit. I got her ass safe. She making videos, ain't it? She can talk to y'all, can it? You know what I'm saying? Can she talk to me? You know what I'm saying? You alive. God led her. We out there, motherfucker. I did my job. It's complete. You know what I'm saying? But far as go over there and whoop that motherfucker like that. Nah, I ain't that type of I ain't finna go there and whoop nobody. But they in front of our face, and they did this shit, mama whoop the brakes off there. They're gonna be sleep, snoring, ugly. Her wig would have been all of them. They would have mopped the floor with that motherfucker the next day. You know what I'm saying? If she would threw that water in our face, you know what I'm saying? But she didn't do that. She did this shit from the side, from the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't finna go back and whoop nobody. You know why? It's called assault charge. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna lose my motherfucking license.
This man got common sense. First of all, GloRilla too new to the game for this anyway. She don't even know how to set anything like this up. First of all, you don't like that's not even how you handle it. And you don't even have enough staff that you're asking your direct guard. It's pictures of them together and everything. You don't even have enough staff to really even do this in a certain type of way. It's a way you can carry stuff like that out. Don't ask me how I know, but it is a way you can carry that out and alleviate even the tie with a liability. But this ain't how you do it. She too new to the game. She don't even know how to do it. And she firing somebody, a man, because they won't beat up a woman. I would still understand what this man was saying if she was saying, go beat up that man. But you asking this man to beat this woman, baby, you would have been canceled the moment somebody even found that out. The moment that you sicked your male guard onto a woman, you would have been canceled. And that's why you love tomorrow? He's 100% right. Okay. And so let's go ahead and get into this news clip real quick. Okay. And then
we begin with breaking news this morning. 1 woman is dead, 8 people injured in a stampede at a rap concert Sunday night. This happened around 10:30 at the Main Street Armory, resulting in mass chaos as first responders flooded the scene. Here's a listen to those emergency responders.
We have 3 people unconscious, APR in progress. The building is safe, but there will be escort due to the large volumes of crowds. We're going to need a number of 4 police officers here. Have them coming from East, have them coming from Circle Street.
Brianna Collier is live at the Main Street Armory with the very latest. Brianna, what are police saying about what triggered the stampede?
Yeah, well, Lynette, police say this all started when people inside of the venue thought they heard gunshots. Rappers GloRilla and Finesse 2 times performed here last night around 10:30. Police say people in the crowd panicked when they thought they heard gunshots. Police say there is no evidence of any shooting, but as frightened concert goers rushed towards the exits, several were hurt in the crush of people. We have video of shoes left behind as people ran for safety. And we talked to some who were at the concert about those scary moments.
I was feeling panic, but I knew how to get out of there. I was like, you know what? Let me get up out of here ahead of time because, man, anything can happen. Everybody panicked because it was just too many people in one place and the rush. And I just seen people falling. You know, it was sad.
And police say 2 of the injured have critical life-threatening injuries. However, they have not released the name of the woman who died. But I do want to mention that it's a much different scene here on Main Street. I know our photographer who was out here last night, that was a totally different story. You couldn't even come down the street. But again, much different scene this morning, and we should expect some updates coming this morning. Reporting live in Rochester this morning, Brianna Collier, News 10, NBC Today. Lynette.
All right, Brianna, thank you. The headliner from that show, GloRilla, tweeted about the incident. She said, in part, I'm just now hearing about what happened, praying everybody is okay. Also,
okay, so that's what's going on with GloRilla and this situation. It's really sad. You know, someone passed away. There's been a lot of talk about, are they going to Travis Scott her? Are they going to consider this situation the way they consider Travis Scott's situation? I'm not sure if we have enough details for that, because hearing gunshots and running, I think from a distance, if you don't look into it, yeah, right. But I think hearing gunshots or hearing what you think are gunshots is different from you have your artist performing on stage and cultivating chaos and confusion leading to a stampede or a trampling. I think it's different, but I will say, who wants to be associated with this? Who wants to be associated with, a fatality at their concert, right? It's just not a good look. Not to mention when you were just trying to cause and inflict violence on someone else not too long ago. So this is the beginning of GloRilla's career, right? And potentially the beginning of a shadow and reputation that she may not be able to shed. Will she get the Travis Scott treatment? I don't know. I pass the question off to y'all. What do you think about it? Do y'all think that she's going to get the Travis Scott treatment? I feel like, look, she got one more time to embrace or let off some toxic, senseless, something that really where violence is the forefront, like this firing your security guard. You took his job away because he wouldn't be violent in the name of you. It's not a good look. One more time, baby, and you're not going to be able to beat them charges. And it's going to be over as soon as it started. It is, because she doesn't have what Cardi B had when she started. And that's not a big ups to Cardi B. Cardi B is racially ambiguous, and it's not too many room for too many Cardi B's. I'll say that. And Cardi B has way more funding in a machine to clean up her mess and to payola to push it to the front. Okay. People will look past it just because she's feeding the masses the ignorance that they want. But it's not too much room for that. Okay, Leo. Come on. Come over here. Get your butt out these people's face. Jesus. Lord, have mercy. Can't do nothing. Can't do absolutely anything. Here. Huh. Shh. All right, come on now. Get down. Get down. Leo, get down. Get down. Nasty. He got his Cuban link and he really think he's something. Y'all saw his Cuban? Okay. Moving on to the next story, because here he go thinking that the show is about him. That the show is about him. Was that it? GloRilla, North, Chris Brown, D.L. Hughley, hotels. Oh, we got through that pretty quickly. That's cool. We need to get into some Black history, though. We need to get into some Black history. And so that's what we're going to do. I do have some other Black news I want to give you. I've got 3 Black news stories in particular, but I don't want this video to be too long. So I think I might come back and give y'all the exclusively Black news. No celebrity, just Black news. Will that video do well? Probably not. People don't like just sitting down and watching Black news. And some of it is actually Black excellence. But I want to make sure I keep the show going and keep the show rolling. Okay. And so that is what we are going to do. We're going to come back later. Y'all support has been amazing. Y'all have been doing great. Let's get into a message from our sponsor. This is a sponsor that, listen, they came out of nowhere and they paid me $11,000 a video to do this. Let's get into it.
What? Oh my gosh. What? Yes. What? COVID vaccines are free. Go and get your shot. COVID vaccines are free. I encourage you guys to get vaccinated. I encourage you guys to.
Do you hear what type of things we promoting? Listen to the enunciation.
What? Oh my gosh. What? Yes. What? COVID vaccines.
COVID-19. Okay.
Are free. Go and get your shot. COVID vaccines are free. I encourage you guys to get vaccinated. I encourage you guys to do your research. It's just like going to the doctor and you're saying, doctor, what is the side effects? Doctor, what is this? Yes, I ask my questions too. You should too. But I encourage you to get vaccinated because I'm vaccinated. They are free, people. Go out and get vaccinated. While you're out and while you're fully vaccinated, I encourage you to still wear your mask around people. We don't know who is vaccinated or fully vaccinated. We don't know who is not vaccinated. So we want to protect ourselves. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your people who's around you. We are going to do this together, you guys. Bring your greetings from St. Louis, Missouri. Yes, the St. Louis County and St. Louis City are giving out free vaccinated, including Walgreens, including CVS. Stop in, make your appointment at those locations. Also, your city governments, city leaders should be putting together many vaccinated events. So make sure you attend those to get fully vaccinated. Come on, let's come together. Join me, because I'm vaccinated, and you should be. Also, while you're out in public places, make sure you guys are respecting those that are working. Make sure you guys are tipping, because don't forget, they were out a whole year and a half. Make sure you're being respectful to those that's in the drive-thru. Make sure you're being respectful for those that sitting around in dining areas. Tip, please. They need the money. Make sure you guys are also encouraging each other. But don't forget, wear your mask. Thank you to Joe Biden and our Vice President, Kamala, for giving out free vaccinated because you care for us.
Vice President who?
Thank you to Joe Biden and our Vice President, Kamala, for giving out free vaccinated because you care for us. And we see that. Thank you to the Joe Biden, the White House team, who is working every single day, who is monitoring COVID vaccine cases. Thank you. Also, a special shout out to Mercy Hospital, who have helped me get fully vaccinated. The staff was so nice, professional. They helped me while I was scared. I answered my question, and they answered every question that I needed. And now I'm fully vaccinated. Thank you.
Here, take it. Take the treat. Go on about your business. All right, a message from our sponsors, okay? Sister Caldwell pays me good money to talk about the things he wants me. Y'all know I'm being facetious and I'm trolling just the way he be lying every day on a daily basis. But I gets my life off of that commercial. Who the hell paid him for that? Baby, the world. Questions that need answers. Where's Tyra Banks?
Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this. You go to bed at night, you lay there, and you take responsibility for yourself.
Child. The crazy thing is he means every word he's saying about it too, though. Okay? He got his check. His government check. Anyway, moving on. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button. One thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about celebrities. We're going to talk about the real news. And we're going to crack up. We're going to cackle. Okay? We're going to cackle. Now it's time for us to get into our Black History moment because we Black and y'all going to learn today. We're going to cut up. We're going to laugh and joke. We're going to talk about current events. But y'all going to learn today. Let's get into it. Drop some pancakes in the chat.
Now, let's spend a little bit of time with our ancestors, or at least listening to them, because you know they always tell us you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. So let's get into a little bit of Black history with this Black History moment.
You in that crowd. They got me in the system. Why they gotta do me like that? And I know I can be what I wanna be what I wanna be. We've got love for y'all, which I don't know. Just about the feeling.
All right, and we are back. We're going to get into our Black History moment. I do have some breaking news. There's a second person who passed away as a result of the tragic incident and the stampede at the GloRilla incident. So I'll give you those details, but first we're going to get into this Black History, and then I'm going to give you this breaking update pertaining to GloRilla. We get into it we get into it while we are here on this show. I'm really loving this after work show for me, right? It doesn't give me a lot of time to mess around when I get off work. I get off, I prioritize this, and I get live to y'all right away, and I can eat dinner before 9 o'clock. It's feeling really good to me, and I'm happy that y'all are here as I try some new things. I told y'all I would be pivoting on this channel just a little bit, not really changing who I am, not really changing my niche, but changing the way I approach and I form certain things, right? The structure, I really want to improve the structure of how I do everything over here. So let's get into on this day in Black history. It is important. It is important. Okay, there ain't nobody in the world who knows every single Black history fact, every single on this day in Black history, and so on and so forth. So listening is crucial. Now, this wasn't from this day. I believe this was from yesterday or the day before. But of course, it's still imperative that we listen to it. This was actually from yesterday, March the 5th. Okay. So on March 5th in 1959, there were 69 Black boys who were padlocked in their dormitory at school, and it was then set on fire. 21 of them burnt to death, while 48 of them managed to escape. Now, on March 5th in 1959, 69 African-American boys ages 13 to 17 were padlocked in their dormitory for the night, and the Negro Boys Industrial School in Wrightsville. Okay. Around 4 a.m., a fire mysteriously ignited, forcing the boys to fight and claw their way out of the burning building. And here we can see this publication in the Arkansas Gazelle, where it was reported, this tragic incident. The old, rundown, and low-funded facility just 15 minutes south of Little Rock housed 69 teens from the age of 13 and 17 years old. Now, most of them were either homeless or incarcerated for petty crimes, such as doing pranks. 48 boys managed to escape the fire. The doors were locked from the outside, and the fire mysteriously ignited on a cold, wet morning following earlier thunderstorms in the same area of rural Pulaski County. This was a horrific event that brought attention to the deplorable conditions in which the boys lived. The boys all slept in a space barely big enough for them to move around, and they're 1 foot apart from one another, and their bathroom was a bucket at the corner that they had to defecate in. Here's a list of the victims. The Wrightsville 21. Really sad situation. And so this just goes to show you education, right? You're talking about a dormitory, a training school, whatever trade or education they were trying to learn. Education is such a privilege, right? I get it. It should be a right, but it's a privilege to, quote unquote, learn in peace without being just terrorized, let alone discriminated against. So this is really sick. And this type of evilness, it still lives to this day. To this extent, I would say in similar but different ways. And, you know, times have evolved. There wasn't social media. We didn't have as many mediums as we have now. So have things changed? Have they improved a smidge? A smidge. But the more the world evolves, the more different ways that people have access to racism and discrimination, et cetera, and so on and so forth. So this was a really unfortunate situation in history where you're literally just trying to learn a trade and they lock you in the building and try to burn it to the ground. Doors locked from the outside, and they talking about the fire mysteriously. And we know what they're getting at. That was Jim Crow and them doing what they like to do. Killing us. It is what it is. Really sad situation. So what did y'all think about this? Have you all heard about this before or not? This happened 30 minutes outside of my hometown. They recently got a plaque a few years ago. Okay, that's really good. That is really good. Well, I mean, a plaque is cool, right? Like, pay some homage. Let's get some memory. Remember their names, right? Because a plaque isn't as expensive and it's not a trinket like a statue. Here's a $10 million statue of the person we killed. We don't want that. Save it, right? Give us reparations instead. But a plaque isn't of the same equivalency, not in my opinion. So that's nice that people have a way to learn and remember them based off of the plaque. Okay. So I see a lot of people saying they haven't heard of it. Yeah, I mean, I encourage you to look it up. Okay. The Arkansas Gazette, what's it called? The Wrightsville 21. I'm pretty sure if you go search the Wrightsville 21, you'll be able to find additional information that digs a little deeper than this did. I had a lot of fun yesterday digging into the Black history of part 2 of Uncle Tom. I did like part 1 of Uncle Tom and one of the other Black News buses, and a lot of people were like, okay, cool. Uncle Tom really didn't have a negative connotation that it was transformed into. So how did the story become so distorted? And so I did a breakdown and explained how it became so distorted. And I will be chopping that video up and letting it sit by itself on the channel, despite the fact that not a lot of people are going to watch it. It's okay. I'm still going to do my part. Still going to do my due diligence. All right. And so that is that. Now, what I want to do is I want to get into the other person who passed away as a result of the injuries that they faced at the GloRilla concert. Let's see, where are we getting this from? This is the front page editor, I believe, the HuffPost, so it's a very credible source. Okay, so it's by the Associated Press. But this is the senior editor of, I believe, the Huffington Post. Second person dies after a crowd stampede at a GloRilla concert in Rochester, New York. Let's see if I can get some additional details before we get out of here and I eat dinner. The Associated Press. Okay. Let's see what's going on with this story here, so we can get into these details. Breaking news, people. Breaking news. Let's get into it. All right. There's too many ads on here now. The death toll rose to 2 on Monday following a stampede at a rap concert in New York that authorities say may have been triggered by unfounded fears of gunfire. Memphis rap stars GloRilla and Finesse 2 Times had finished performing on Sunday night at Rochester's Main Street Armory when people exiting just around after 11 p.m. began to surge dangerously. They don't have any evidence of gunshots being fired or anyone being shot or stabbed at the scene. And so they returned to the vehicle to grab, the venue to retrieve the vehicle's child, the belongings that they left behind. Someone says, I was watching my life flash before my eyes and I still didn't know what was going on. Police found 3 badly injured women in the auditorium, one identified as Miss Belton, 33, of Buffalo. She passed at the hospital. And police announced the death of a 35-year-old woman late Monday. Her name was not released. Another woman remained in critical condition, according to police. 7 additional people were treated at area hospitals for injuries that were not life-threatening. That's pretty much the bulk of this situation. Oh, this is a good comment here. So, Jane, do you find it odd that Ricky Smiley's moved past his son passing so quickly, never any real reason? Well, it came out that his son was addicted to a substance. There was a substance abuse problem. And I don't think that Ricky Smiley has moved on from it so quickly per se. I would say every other day, if not every 2 days, he posts something expressing how sad he is. Like, I just need help from y'all this morning or whatever. And when you have workaholics like that and other people depend on you, Ricky Smiley works a lot of jobs, believe it or not. And because he's based here in Baltimore, I'm not sure if like you're here in Baltimore, but I'm privy to a lot of what Ricky Smiley does. And that show is really early in the morning. It's really early. And you know, you got Gary with the T and other people who really depend on him. And Gary is really the force that brings them all together. So for some people, stopping and taking a week or two off to mourn, that everybody grieves differently, right? So some people prefer to stay busy and deal with their feelings in between their hardcore responsibilities. Some people want to take a week off to just be sluggish. And everybody does it differently. I've grieved about different things and different people in my lifetime. And there are some times where I just want to sit still for a day. Other times I'm like, okay, I know I'm grieving, but I at least want to stay busy because for whatever my reasoning is at that time. As a matter of fact, my grandfather passed away this morning. My father's dad passed away this morning at 4:03. And I don't think it's really hit me yet. But at the same time, there was no quality of life for my grandfather either. I mean, it was just, there was no quality of life. Do you hear what I'm saying? So part of me is happy about it because I feel like he's in a better place. He's alleviated of all of this pain. What I'm more so sad about is my dad and how he is taking it and how he's gonna take it over time and comforting him. So everybody grieves differently. And I do see Ricky Smiley literally once every 2 days with a sad post like, y'all just help me. I need y'all prayers. I need this, that. So yeah, I think everybody does it different. So, yeah. Grief doesn't look one type of way. That's why when people were saying, oh, Shanquella's people's on TV, they not crying, so they must be scamming with the GoFundMe. Are you serious? Y'all counting tears or whatever the case is? You know, I remember I had a roommate when I was 20 going on 21 and I had moved into her apartment. So crazy because I had found her on Craigslist. She could have been a killer, right? Years after that, the Craigslist killer movie came out. Anyway, she had a daughter. I think I lived with her for 2 years. She had a daughter. Oh my God. It was the saddest thing in this world. And her daughter was 7 when she passed away. First of all, the girl, she acted 9. She wasn't grown, but she was just so, by the time her mother would get up in the morning, her mother was an early riser too. The 7-year-old had gotten up, made herself a bowl of cereal, was sitting there watching TV, had her backpack on, and was already dressed for school. She was just such an independent mind, and she passed away due to an asthma attack. And I had moved out at the time. This was a couple of years after I had moved out. And me and her, we had our differences. And I honestly wasn't speaking to her at that time. But when I found out that her daughter had passed away, and like that was my friend. And I lived with that girl for 2 years. I lived with that 7-year-old girl. You know, she was like 5 at the time. I lived with her for years. I knew how sweet she was. And she would have me do her makeup and everything else. And so her mother went through these, I won't say weird stages of grief, but they definitely weren't chronological. Because when it first happened and she needed to pick out an outfit for the funeral, she couldn't even go in the girls' room. So she had me go in there and grab a certain tutu or a certain whatever she wanted her to wear. The very last outfit the girl had picked out at the mall, that's what she wanted her to wear. So I go in there and I get the stuff because it was too much for her to go in there into her own daughter's room because it was fresh. But the funeral, the viewing and the funeral came, and it was like it hadn't hit her yet, right? It was not in order. She's going around. You would think she was an usher. Everybody's in there sad. I'm in there sad. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're looking at a child in a casket. My roommate is going around, are you okay? Oh, it's going to be okay. I mean, she's hugging everybody else, asking if they're going to be okay. And I found that to be so crazy. I'm like, when this hits her, it's going to be bad. Because she's going around like she's an usher, handing everybody tissues and shit. And making sure they're okay. And, oh, you're sad. It's okay. Let me go to the next person. Oh, It's okay. And it was odd. Like, you know, she wasn't in her right mind. You know what I mean? And this was her only child. And that hurt my feelings so bad, seeing her in that church like that, consoling everybody else, because it's like she didn't realize this the last time, even though she had planned the whole thing, what she was wearing, had her favorite snacks on tables outside, butter crunch cookies and everything like that, her karate outfit. And I'm like, oh my God, like she's not like here right now. Like, she placed herself somewhere else. I don't know, but she was a very caring person. So grief, it definitely doesn't have one way it doesn't have one way of looking. You know, that just, that was a really crazy situation. It was something else. It was something else. So, you know, grief is a crazy thing, but we all have to go through it at one point or another in life, you know. So yeah, her true feelings were repressed. Our mind automatically does it as a coping mechanism. Yeah. My dad was like that. My mom passed away. He made sure everybody else was good. It didn't hit him until afterwards. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and she had us like over the night before. We were all over there, all of her friends. And I mean, she was just laughing and giggling the whole time. And so it finally hit her like 2 weeks later. And that's when she really had a breakdown. 2 weeks later. So, you know, that was a time. That was a time. So, but hey, this was, that took a turn. But you know what? This conversation might help other people understand how grief looks so many different ways. Don't think because you don't see people crying at a certain moment that they're okay or they're not sad or you weren't even emotional, you know. Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. So it's just 8 o'clock. We're going to be back with another show, but I do have a sticky note for you all this evening. We got to turn this thing around, okay? We got to turn this thing around. I do have a sticky note for you all this evening. I'm working on a video about Black women and our strength and how we cope and how we deal with it in different ways. We can make sure that we fill the cup that we pour out of. And so it's been difficult for me to get together sticky notes because I feel like the whole thing that I'm putting together is like this long version of a sticky note. But I still do have something for you all this evening, and I'm going to give it to you. So I'm going to give you a sticky note. This is a really good show. I don't want it to go past an hour and 30 minutes. So let me hurry up and get to this sticky note. I appreciate you all being here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this as an ode to my channel members. We'll be doing a couple of members only this week that I'm really excited about. I have an exclusive coming this week. I'm so excited about the exclusive we have in this week, and I'll be telling the channel members about it first. Of course, I'll probably tell y'all about it before the end of the night if you are a member. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get to the sticky note. Y'all can go ahead and finish making y'all dinner, eat y'all dinner, and we're going to be back for another show that is primarily, if not only, Black news. Okay? Okay. Let's go. Keep it locked. Throw some pancakes down below in the chat. Look, if you ain't hit the thumbs up button, baby, hold up. What are you doing? What are you doing on my bus if you ain't hit the thumbs up? Come on now. Hit your special emojis if you are a channel member. If you're not a channel member, just drop some pancakes in the chat, and we'll be right back for our sticky note, which is the positive note of the day.
thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some Black, and she said, loves me some Black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
So wait a minute, you ain't joined the channel yet so that you can access special perks over here with thePLAINESTjane?
Rolex on your wrist, plain Jane.
Ooh, watch this. Hey, I'm thePLAINESTjane. I'm a cultural commentator and informant, and I provide sticky coverage on trending stories, Black news, Black culture, and everyday topics with a sticky, abstract perspective. So get familiar with the perks. I've carefully curated all of these things, and it's just a little exclusive glaze to amplify the way that you express yourself. So get comfortable, get used to our official emoji over here. That is the pancake stack, because it's always sticky in Hollywood and in real life, and especially when you spend the time over here with the plainest Jane. Like I said, I hope you enjoy the exclusive glaze that I've provided for you to amplify the way you express yourself, and I hope you enjoy the digital vibe. Hey, listen, I always want you to keep it sticky, but be sure to think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. But most importantly, I hope that you're feeling all right, and hopefully you've had some time to tackle some of your invisible problems. I know I got a couple of new subscribers, and I just want to say thank y'all. I really do appreciate you. And if you're not quite feeling all right, this channel right here, once you join, it's going to help you kick back and decompress always, but it'll also keep you in the know with what's happening with the best Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. So again, get comfortable. The first drink is on me, all right? Act like you got some sense, and I'll see you around. But don't forget to keep it sticky 24/7 by following me on Instagram, but hit that notification bell so that you always know when I upload and you get your dose of syrup first. Now, with all that stickiness being said, the most important thing I want you to remember about this neck of the woods and the plainest Jane is Black Lives Matter. And if you don't agree,
buy pumpkin. That would take you out. I don't play that shit.
Now you gotta go for real.
It's just that simple. Hey, look, whether you join or not, I do want you to stay beautiful, Black, and blessed. And just know I appreciate your support. I'm your girl, the plainest Jane. And let's see what's happening in these virtual streets. You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now.
All right, and we're back. I just want to let you know there was a light at the end of the tunnel for my old roommate. She ended up marrying, and I believe he had 2 kids. He already had 2 kids. So she's a very loving person. So she has 2 kids that technically are her stepchildren, but they're, you know, when you see the dynamic, those are her kids. Okay. So she still has the opportunity to be a mom again. And she was a very attentive mom. Every single Tuesday was Toes and Taco Tuesday. She did her nails. They did tacos. They baked and made stuff all the time. She always had a whole bunch of just creative ways to connect with her baby. So she's got other babies that she can connect. And they're both girls too, just like the other one was a girl. So just to give a, you know, a little positive note if some of y'all was still like thinking about that situation or whatever the case is. So that is that. And what, let's get into the sticky note, right? So today's sticky note is this. The definition of anger is an emotional punishment that you give yourself for somebody else's behavior. Let that sink in. Anger. The definition of anger is an emotional punishment that you give yourself for somebody else's behavior. And yes, anger is a natural emotion that every single human being experiences at one point or another. But how long are you willing to hold on to it? How long does it take you to turn it around and realize that you deserve to be happy? I think it's kind of like a muscle, training yourself not to stay in a place that's not serving you, that's got you in a negative space based off of the actions of somebody else. I think it's like a muscle, and you have to train yourself of how to navigate out of there as efficiently as possible, not avoid it, because, you know, suppressed feelings are always going to resurface. And typically when they do, it's the most inconvenient time ever. And it's definitely not the best representation of your character. So I'm not saying avoid your emotions and don't feel through your not so positive emotions. Address them, right? But don't hold on to them like you're holding on for dear life. Okay. And, you know, will you let them fester? You know, if you hold on to things and you let them fester, well, I mean, you know, you're frequently going to be angry and potentially take it out on others and negatively impact other areas and aspects of your life. But if you have developed a habit of letting it flow through you and releasing it sooner than later, you have more time and you have more energy to attract more of the things that you want out of life. You do. Things that bring you peace, things that bring you tranquility, things that bring you satisfaction. Don't forget the law of attraction. If you're angry all the time, if you're always talking about negative things, feeling negative things, focused on negative things, absorbing negative things, people, energy, shows, then that's what you're going to attract. And that's why you just have this cycle of chaos. But if you're constantly focused on the positive and the good things and positive energy and figure out how to foster and curate that positivity, you will become a magnet for that type of energy, whether it be good or positive. And so it's kind of like forgiveness when we talk about anger being something like an emotional punishment that you give yourself for somebody else's behavior, because the old folklore has it, forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. It's for you. And so the sooner you forgive someone, it doesn't mean you got to let them back in your life. Doesn't mean you've got to engage with them again. It just means you've lightened the burden on yourself, your heart, your spirit, and you're able to more freely and more lightly move on with your life and move on away from them if that's what you want to do. And so I think that is similar to anger. Anger is an emotional punishment that you give yourself for somebody else's behavior. Do not let somebody else's behavior have your panties so in a bunch for so long. I totally get being pissed off if somebody does something to irritate you, but how long you gonna let that person and what they did control how you acted and how you engage with other people and other aspects of your life? Hell, your success. You can't be but so successful when you're angry. I feel like the only time it works when you're angry, if you're being successful, is if like you're working out or you're doing something physical. Because if you're angry and you boxing, it'll work. If you're angry and you're working out, you're running on the treadmill and you just, and you're just going and you zone out, all right. But outside of that, it's not beneficial to you. It's not beneficial. So that's the sticky note of the day. Don't let other people's actions cause you to be in a prolonged emotional state that's really punishing you and whatever you got going on in your life, because that's exactly what anger is. Okay? And that's the sticky note of the day. Look, if it resonated with you, be sure to comment down below, I'm doing me, so that I know it is real. This has been a really, really, really good show. I appreciate you all for being here. Let me check the vibe of the comments. Right on time. You are welcome. You are welcome. It can be difficult to implement. Don't get me wrong, but it's like anything else that's difficult to implement. Once you get used to doing it and you do it over and over again, it becomes kind of like muscle memory. It's like your first or 2 days going to the gym and you ain't been in forever. It gets easier with every day, but it's difficult to get yourself into that mood because you're so used to whatever you regularly do. Holding on to anger, not moving on, refusing to figure out how to thrust yourself out of that and find the positive in your life that you could be putting that energy into, right? You ever spent a whole lunch, I get an hour lunch break, a whole lunch break mad at someone or something. What a waste of an entire hour. What a waste of what you really could have been doing. Some positive energy you could have been attracting to you. It's hard to do positive things when you're feeling negative or angry towards someone or something. And like I said, I'm not saying avoid your feelings. Come on now, let's keep it a buck. You suppress them feelings all you want to. They're going to come exploding back out at the worst time. So let it flow through you, but figure out a way to flush yourself out a bit sooner with something that is more aligned with whatever the hell it is that you're trying to do or achieve. Okay? It's pretty much, that's what it is. Okay? So that is the sticky note. Some people said they needed it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I came up with that literally 20 minutes before I went live, before I came live today, because y'all wasn't going to get a sticky note otherwise. So I'm glad that it resonated with you. Someone said, that's why I need a new job. That funky 30 minutes ain't nothing. Especially if you got to leave out the building to get something to eat. 30 minutes ain't going to do nothing but irritate me. Especially because I don't get no service in my work belt. And so I literally have to leave out to do media stuff, research stuff, and drive around the corner to get some goddamn service. With 30 minutes, what I'm going to do? Walk to the car and walk back? Please. It's not enough. It is just not enough. If you're in a toxic relationship, Angry freaking does not count as a healthy. You're right. Having angry El Nana, it does not count. You're right about that. It doesn't. Makeup intimacy is something different if you've genuinely talked it out and y'all had a conversation outside of the intimacy. But if y'all just have an angry, intimate, nah, that's toxic. That's toxic for sure. It definitely is. So, and I mean, I'm learning that myself. When somebody comes through my video, right? And I'm holding myself accountable. Somebody comes through my video and says some ignorant shit, and I spend 10 minutes responding to their comment while I'm live talking to all of y'all. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. I got a comment on the video from the day before, and I edited it out already, but I got a comment like, Jane, you spent 10 minutes on that person, and they came through here just to be an agent of chaos, and you fed into that shit for 10 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Every now and then, getting a little sassy or snappy is cool, but to take up 10 minutes of a video when I'm in the middle of a serious story to give them that response because it irritated the shit out of me, not cool. So I have to get better too. So when I make these sticky notes, I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too. Everybody's got room for improvement. Okay. So that was a moment of transparency. I didn't plan on sharing that with y'all, but we're all human, and I'm dedicated to improving what I do and how I present my information and being balanced enough to hit all the different markers of being serious, of being credible, of being funny, of being goofy, bringing y'all stuff that's not always heavy, but knowing when it's time to talk about heavy things, knowing when to cut up and when to ignore people in certain comments and not even give it the light of day. I'm getting better at all of those things. Those are things that I'm focused on. Okay? I'm focused on those things. So it is okay. It is okay. We are all human. I love y'all so much. It's time for me to go get something to eat. If I don't come back later publicly in front of all of you all, we will be backstage members only with our talking about what we need to talk about. If not, you all are going to get a series of Black stories tomorrow with whatever else may be trending. Look out on Wednesday around sometime after 6. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have your notification bell on. Anticipated exclusive is coming, exposing Bishop Lamar Whitehead's new gimmick. Yes, he's got a new scam. I would never expect Bishop Lamar Whitehead to run out of scams, but I've got an exclusive coming, and you definitely do not want to miss this. Wednesdays, sometime after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep an eye out. Put your notification bell on. Channel members, you'll hear about that before the night is out with what is going on, and I am going to catch you all later. I love you all so much. Thank y'all for spending time with me. Make sure you share this video as well. Liking is one thing, subscribing is one thing, but share if you care. Do you care? If you ain't sharing, do you care? And if you don't care and you ain't sharing, get off my bus. Get off my bus if you don't care and you ain't gonna share. About to throw you out like the Fresh Prince, like they used to throw Jazzy Jeff out. Get off my bus if you don't care. Share it on Twitter. Share it via text message. Share it in your group chat, Instagram, Facebook, however it is that you share videos. Make sure you do your due diligence and help get the word out about the syrup over here, the Black news and celebrity entertainment that I be spilling. Okay?
Get into this Black-owned business, stickies. It's got things for inside your home, outside your home, and even on the go. JasmineMadeIt.com is your new destination for Black Girl Magic mugs, tumblers, and even wine glasses. You can even customize the tumblers and wine glasses. There's a lot going on for a low price over at JasmineMadeIt.com. And if you've been serious about wanting to support more Black-owned businesses, here's your chance. Let JasmineMadeIt.com handle all your problems for family and friends. You ever had a friend over and they just wasn't catching the hint or paying the rent?
Y'all asses all get to stepping.
Yeah, tell them to get to stepping with this nostalgic Martin-themed doormat and shop over a dozen different doormat designs over on JasmineMadeIt.com. All right, stickies, you know what time it is. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and shop black today. Make life easier for you and your household by taking your family's hot or cold beverages on the go with one of these unique tumblers. It's insulated to keep your beverage at temperature, and it comes with a few different reusable straws and even the specific brush that you need to wash it so you can keep it sanitized and germ-free. They've got all kinds of designs to match your mood or style. So grab something for your wife, the hubby, or even the kids over on JasmineMadeIt.com. That's JasmineMadeIt.com, and I'll see you over there.
All right, and we are back. And don't forget that when you are shopping black over at JasmineMadeIt.com, that you can use my code Jane for 10% off. Okay, any of your purchases. I absolutely love this cup. Y'all see me literally drinking out of it in every show, and I do have other cups that people have sent to my PO box that I need to use, but this is honestly my favorite. No cap, no cap, no cap, no cap. Okay, first of all, I need a cup with the top when I go live, and so that I don't spill anything. But y'all make sure y'all say beautiful, black, and blessed. Listen, it's time for y'all to get the hell up off my bus. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. It's time for me to kick you off the bus. Y'all say beautiful, black, blessed, and get the hell off my bus so I can catch y'all next time. Deuces.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.